we're not talking about testing athletes. Did you hear about anybody saying we'll test the athletes before they come? Now they said there will be testing facilities on ground to ensure that athletes are tested before they compete. And I'm sure that will be ongoing. That requires a lot of planning. That requires a lot of strategic communication. That requires a lot of compliance on the part of the athletes. So we have from now till January to achieve that. So that's progress. We just hope that we talk and do these things, because with COVID-19, we cannot, I repeat it again, we cannot gamble. It has shown that it respects nobody, and it just takes one person to give it to more than 10 persons. So we must be sure. So whoever is saying that, what's the difference? This is November, and if we plan properly, we can achieve a lot in January. I'm in the UK, and they're taking testing seriously. In fact, in my university, testing is ongoing. You just need to go in there and test. You can test today, you can test again the next day. So everybody is getting to understand that it is through testing we can beat this thing. So that's a good step that the PTF and the Ministry of Youth and Sports and the Edo State government have agreed that they're going to make testing facility and capacity, improve on it, and make sure that persons come in there tested and we know their status before they go on to compete. I know how eager these athletes just want to come in and do something, particularly that it has now entered into the year of the Olympics. But we should understand this is the new normal. The new normal is, can we all slow down? Can we think? Can we think about safety? Can we be responsible? Can we ensure that we don't regret our decisions by not? You remember cases of somebody just touching the microphone and is testing positive of COVID-19. That's how bad this virus is ravaging the world. So I'd love to see the National Sports Festival. We've been longing for it. The last one we had wasn't properly staged. It was like a makeshift one. We were hoping that this one would come. But whoever thought that COVID-19 would come? Somebody is feeling bad in Nigeria? Yes. But the Olympics was postponed. Did the world end? No, it didn't.
All right, I agree that you have a point as regards to that, but let's also spare a thought for the athletes. They'll use their bodies to compete in these events, but you and I know that the mind controls the body, and if your mind is not right, especially all of this back and forth, looking at the performances and the scenario that that has played out before these events, you think we might not get, the kind of performances that will wow us, or maybe those guys will not be at their optimum best with all of this. Though you have appealed to the athletes, some of the things you said that look, it's everywhere. You have to put your mind to what you are supposed to be doing, but then again, everyone is affected with this, and will their minds be right when eventually the festival begins?
Yeah, in our world of sports, we say impossible is nothing. And this is a terrain where the mindset is everything. The same way you and I were thinking the tempo might drop, somebody will come out and COVID-19 will be the motivation that I want to do something to, prove a point that COVID-19 didn't stop me, that COVID-19 didn't have a hold of my form. So let's just hope. Yes, we will not see the same level of performance because a lot has been disrupted. Conditioning, training camps, in fact, in terms of coaching, level of competition, some of these athletes missed out on qualifiers, national competitions. It was a pause on our world of sports. And we understand, and that's why when this comes back, everybody will just need to, have a mind shift and say, look, let's just give this our best. I know of the home-based athletes, whenever they're called upon to do something, they do it because they don't really get the sort of opportunity that the foreign-based athletes get to, really compete and all. So state governments already have their budgets. They've had their budget since the start of the year. And they just need to call on these guys and say, look, it is what it is. Let's just go out there and compete. Delta State, for instance, last year promised ₦1 million for a gold medal. You and I know the number of gold medals that they racked in. That's enough motivation. Akwa Ibom State is doing the same thing. I know the Kwara State government, they are also doing a lot to enhance the welfare of athletes. So they just need to tell them that, look, we know we're supposed to do this thing last year, and it didn't happen. So let's just go out there and do the same. Remember, when we're talking about let's look at the positive side of COVID-19. We said this is the time to reflect. Athletes, coaches, administrators, officials of the Ministry of Youth and Sports Development, everybody, this is the time to think, to redirect your steps. That's what COVID-19 has done to us. It said, pause. Let's see how we can, start thinking of something else. You and I on this show the other day, you saw how Thomas Bach went inspirational, trying to charge up the athletes because he understands that it's not going to be the same mindset. So yes, I agree that the tempo will drop. Persons will come to camp and be saying, oh, I was ready to do this. But one champ somewhere will be saying, this is my chance to make a story, to tell a beautiful story of how COVID-19 didn't stop my form.
All right. Also, let me put you on pause and let's quickly go to John Joshua Akonji, the special advisor to the minister, special advisor on media to the Minister of Sports. If you can hear me, John Joshua, it's good to have you join us on the show tonight. Okay, it appears we might have to wait a while before we get that conversation going. And all right, that will take me quickly back to Austin, who's already told us that, look, in spite of all of these things, the athletes need to put their mind right and do what they're supposed to do. And as a follow-up to that, let me just say, you expect a champ somewhere to say, this is my opportunity, but realistically, do you expect to see records tumble in Benin City eventually when this event gets to be held? You think you're going to see a lot of... I mean, it usually happens in sports events. Records are set, records are broken. That's sports. It happens on daily. We're used to that. But we know it's a unique situation, very unique situation where you're competing in sports and something else is playing on your mind. But in all of that, do you expect to see a lot of records stumble or just a kind of participation that's just there, not a lot of outstanding performances?
Yes, I mean, no doubt. This has been a massive disruption. And I say it again, not just to Nigeria. It's worldwide. Even in the UK, the English Premier League, you see how they're trying to gradually bring fans to the stadium. And that, in a way, is going to, touch the mindset of the players because they've been playing without the fans. Now the fans are coming gradually. So you start hearing those side talks. You start hearing those chants. Last time out at a sports festival, there was a little girl from Akwa Ibom, little fun, I think was her name, that stunned all of us with the victory in the 400 meters. You remember?
Yeah.
It's not like she had the best of the preparation that she needed to have to come to the National Sports Festival to upset national champions, team athletes. Thank you, Yemi. So she went there with a mindset. They did a state festival in Akwa Ibom, and that was all that little girl carried to activate her dreams. That's what I'm saying with this athlete. Somebody will come to Edo and say, oh, everybody is thinking this is not the sort of competition because other persons will come, well, let me just go and participate, get the participation bonus, get my welfare package. And a little boy, maybe from Bauchi, say maybe this is the time to prove a point in karate. Chikachuku Merije might be there on that day and will say, look, that's a motivation. In our world of sports, impossible is nothing. Anything can happen. See, it's sad that this has happened, but I know somewhere, the greatest discovery of life is self. Somebody will sit back and say, I've been longing to make an impact. Oh, there's channels, television, there are different media houses. What if I just upset somebody? What if I create a new record? It starts from the mind, and that's where victory comes from, So with sports, I've been covering this for decades, and I know that it is when you think nothing will happen that something happens. Each time you think that it's just not going to go the way you want it to go, you get stunned, So we saw it at the last festival. We'll see it again. It's all about the look and feel. That's why I said this is a time to reflect. Edo State government, it depends on the sort of experience they will give to the athletes when they are arriving. The Ministry of Youth and Sports Development is the same package that they need to sit down and think about ways that we pump up interest. The moment athletes are getting into the games village, state governments, don't sit back, fold your hands and start crying. COVID-19 has finished us. No, now that they've said January the 3rd, think about ways, your little ways, and plan so that we can have the best of the National Sports Festival. COVID-19 has changed a lot of things, but it shouldn't stop us. It should be something that will tell us, look, how about we learn how to do things differently? That's what they're trying to do in other parts of the world. That's what we should also be thinking about doing in Nigeria.
All right. I like everything that you've said. But let's come to our own constituency, the media coverage of these events. This probably will be the biggest event to be held in Nigeria in this COVID-19 period. Because it's a multi-sport event, as everything. And for the guys on this side, for the guys on the media, the public needs us to be there to cover. But how big of a challenge do you think it's going to be for the media? Because public depends on the media to highlight the event. But all of the protocols, I've read through some of the things. It might be challenging, really.
It will be challenging, but this job that we do is likened to that of the military. They say you need to go, and off you go. With COVID-19, everybody needs to be responsible for themselves. When you go out there, just respect the protocols, keep your social distancing, wash your hands when you have to, use your sanitizer when you have to, keep distance when you're speaking to persons, avoid crowded areas. Look at how they do interviews with international events. We need to see ways that we can do those kind of things. If it's when you're stretching your mic to someone, you can now start thinking about using a longer mic stand or even use a boom mic just so you keep your distance. The show must go on. Look, when I look at some of the measures that they've put in place in some international competitions, it gets to tell you that the world is moving. Yes, COVID-19 ravaged the world. It forced a lot of things, but we have said to it that this cannot put us down. And I think that's the mindset any journalist that is going to go to the sports festival in Benin City should have. Just respect the safety protocols and you'll be fine. All
right, Austin. I'm going to keep you on, but we need to go on a break right about now. When we return from that break, we'll still be on the matter, talking about the second postponement of the National Sports Festival and all the things happening in your amazing world of sports. John Scare. All right, welcome back. I still have Austin Okon-Akpan with me, and hopefully I'm going to be joined by a couple of others to get different perspectives. So, Austin, we can't wrap up the discussion about the National Sports Festival because we keep going back to it. But let me just quickly get your thoughts. I want to quickly take out some of the stories, take it out, so probably spend the rest of the time talking about the Sports Festival. The D Tigers at the Afro basket qualifiers will be up against Rwanda tomorrow. They won their first game against South Sudan. And somebody said this is probably a shop window for some of those guys right there in Rwanda. If they can impress the coach, maybe they are in with a shout for the Olympics. I don't know if you agree with that assertion.
Of course, it's about taking a chance. And, for Coach Mike Brown, nobody will jump up and say, oh, he knows these players, he has his team. So Coach Mike Brown is learning game after game, Shout out to the team for what they did against South Sudan. 20 points were expected win, but they showed good character and went on to win. Rwanda will be a good test as far as being the host country. But no doubt you'd expect Nigeria to qualify for the Afro Basket Championship in 2021 and even go on to win. They were so close to winning the last time. But yes, in answering your question, this is open. I keep saying it. COVID-19 has refreshed the world. So this the Tigers team. Everybody now is about current form. It's not about your name. It's about what you do right now to impress this new man. And for Coach Mike Brown, you'll be hearing a lot of side talks. And at the end of the day, it's performance that we judge, and that is what he will use this competition to do. So let's see what's going to happen against Rwanda. So now If you say this person did well in the first match, second match, you assess the person again, the person does well, you expect him to do well again in the third, then that's consistency. Then that means he has confirmed his quality. So that's what it will be. Let's see. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Coach Mike Brown can do to this team. I'm expecting a lot of tactical discipline from him as regards his experience from the NBA. The D Tigers, no doubt, have the sort of quality that we expect. And when you see the roster of the players invited, you expect them to go all the way to win. But then again, I agree with you, Yemi, that somebody somewhere will be saying, if I give my best, I might just be on my way to Tokyo.
Yeah, that's possible. Let's quickly take a look at the next round of matches for the D Tigers, and I'm going to ask Austin if he feels they are winnable games. I mean, D Tigers are one of the, if not the best, one of the best teams on the continent. Against the hosts, Rwanda, tomorrow, and against Mali on Sunday. Austin, your thoughts? What do you think we can get from these two? Are they winnable games, these two matches?
Of course. No, Rwanda is a straight win. Mali is a good test. It's a good test of complacency. It's a good test of character because the Malians can be physical and they can push you all the way. But then again, I expect Nigeria to win, but it will test them. It will push them. Against Rwanda, the coach might use that game to see how he can prepare for Mali on Sunday. Look, there's just something about the D Tigers and the level of respect they have earned in Africa. You know, sometimes when they don't win a particular game, you just push it down to them being unfortunate. You know, and this being the qualifiers, you would only fear that they might just go to sleep when you don't expect them to, but I don't think that's going to happen. Yes, they might not give Nigerians the sort of performance that you'd expect. Trust your countrymen. They won South Sudan by 20 points. They will expect them to beat Rwanda by 30 and beat Mali by 40 points. And forget that it doesn't work that way. But then again, yes, the Malians, we push them. That I know, and I'd like to see it. I'm looking forward to that game and see how they can stand the physicality of the Malians and then show good test of character to go on all the way to win. That game, for me, will be one that I'd like to come back to talk about Mike Brown, because now you've seen him in his first two games against teams that you'd expect the team to win. Now, against a team that you don't expect them to just go all out and have a clean sweep, it's be a good way to, monitor and assess the coach.
I agree with you, Austin. Let's move on and get to talk about football on the continent. Inter-club competitions, talking about the CAF Champions League and the CAF Confederations Cup. Nigerian teams will be in action. So let's just quickly see. Let's start with the CAF Champions League, the prestigious one. CAF Champions League. Let's look at our teams that will be in action. You have Plateau United will take on Simba of Tanzania, very strong side. The Aba Elephants, talking about Imba, will be up against Rahimo, the team from Burkina Faso. All right, so those are the fixtures in the CAF Champions League. All right, let me see if we can quickly do this. Akode Ojekere is with us, and of course, he needs little or no introduction. A friend of the house, sports journalist, content provider. I could go on and on and on and on and on. And Akode, if you can hear me, it's good to have you join us on the show tonight.
Thank you. My pleasure.
All right. I mean, if you were following, we just talked about the CAF Champions League. That's our next stop. I want to get your thoughts. This weekend, our teams will be in action. Their chances, one playing at home, one traveling, their chances. A lot of us are hearts in our mouths, especially the one that's going to play against Simba.
Of course, Simba has become a big team in the continent. That's the truth. In all ramifications, you look at the quality of players they have. They've got 7 Tanzania national team players, and they've got 6 players from other national teams. They've got 2 from Zambia, they've got 2 from Kenya, they've got 1 from Rwanda, and 1 from Mozambique. If a team can put together 6 internationals, that's no joke. They add to the Tanzanian national team players. Don't forget, Tanzania was at the last AFCON, pushed by our own Emmanuel Amunike. So when you add that experience to it, and gradually Simba has grown to become a team that wants to get into that group stage and make an impact. So it's going to be a game that will test the strength of Plateau United. My opinion, they don't look prepared. If a team is just receiving their jersey for the match on Sunday and celebrating the jersey as if that's the kit, you don't receive your jerseys on about 2-3 days to a key game. I mean, a game as big as this, and you're going to wear those jerseys. It all counts. You've been preparing. You look at preparation so far. They lost to Eyimba. They came back home, lost again to second tier side. You begin to worry. How the typical Nigerian spirit is there. We all hoping they win. We always hope. We should prepare better. They've got Sunday Adetunji, who's played for Abia Warriors. He's played for Eyimba, played for Lobby. He's got a continental experience. They also have in attack Bashir Abdurrahman. Bernard Ovoke should be in form. Dele, the former under 17, under 20, under 20 goalkeeper. Ajiboye, we call him Ajiboye, should be in goal. They should have Benjamin Tuba. So all in all, playing again at the stadium, several promises to get that stadium completed. The last time they played in the continent, they played at the Rampant Stadium. We were told that to be completed. Again, the new Jos Stadium, which is not completed, but they're playing there. So it goes to show again that the owners of the team, you're going to play this competition. Back in March, COVID ended the national team domestic activity. Between March and now, what has happened at that facility is the same thing that we've always known it to be. At the end of the day, we hope that our team said that Plateau United will overcome Simba.
Taco, you did talk about Eyimba, and he appears like we all think, not a big deal. Eyimba should pull through. I don't know if you share that sentiment as well.
They're playing Rahimo from Burkina Faso. They played this team before. It was they lost in Burkina Faso and came here to win 5-0. So you want to give him that edge that over 2 legs, Eyimba will overcome Rahimo. But don't forget that the Champions League is a competition where the higher you go, the hotter it becomes. So, but first of all, take care of the first game you have to do. I think against Rahimo, over 2 legs, Eyimba would comfortably overcome them.
All right, let me quickly go to Austin. A quick one before we go to the CAF Confederation Cup. Austin, your take on our two teams, first leg. Is it going to be 100%, or you think it's going to be 1 out of 2?
I don't think it's going to be 100%. And sadly, I could just, reminded us of those little things that we ignore that actually bring success, How can you be having your jersey just days before a crucial match? Didn't they know they will play in the CAF Champions? The Channels International Kids Cup will have the kids' jerseys a week before competition. How can a team in the Nigeria Professional Football League be doing that? We've talked about the stadium. Infrastructure is very important. Look, there's just something about branding, look and feel, that as soon as players get on that turf, they are motivated. Like when you get into it turf and you're like, are you going to express yourself playing football? You see, those distractions, that is what is holding our football. And look, there are little distractions that just tells us that we're not paying attention to details. Because can Plateau United play football? Yes. Do they have the quality? I could just call the names. We have the quality. They have a sound coach in Abdul Maikaba. But you find out that it's those little things that we've ignored that Simba has been doing that will count for them. And that's just how football works. So I'll just keep my fingers crossed, let them play. If they win, they win. I like what I could just say, we'll hope. That's what we always do. We just hope that it works for us. Rahimo and Eyimba, the last time I talked about this CAF Champions League, I said at the CAF Champions League stage, no team respects anybody. We are all playing the CAF Champions League. And at the preliminary stages, as important as even playing the final, because from this stage, you want to get to the next round. So Eyimba cannot afford to be complacent. They cannot say it's Rahimo. If they're saying that, then they should remember I didn't beat them in Ouagadougou the last time they played. So that same thing can happen with football.
Yeah.
So on the football, we're fine. The things we need to do to express ourselves on the continent, we're struggling.
All right. So let's take a step down, if you can allow me to call it that. No disrespect to the CAF Confederation Cup. Let's take a look at the fixtures. I'm consoled by the fact that the two teams representing Nigeria playing away first. So in a way, they could limit the damage or control the damage and probably come home to finish it off. ASC Giraffe of Senegal will be up against our own Kano Pillars. Futuro Kings of Equatorial Guinea will be up against Rivers United. I want to go to Ikoje here, and I don't know if you agree with me that our two teams playing away first, I don't know, it gives me some sort of consolation that if it doesn't go our way, maybe we'll get a chance to fix it when we come home.
Maybe if you're playing a team from Equatorial Guinea, yes, but not a team from Senegal. Talking about the home and away team, in the continent, really, you play your best. If you're good, you're good. I don't think there's anything like home and away. Maghreb Tétouan, let me just give you a history. Against Kano Pillars, the first leg was played in Tétouan. Tétouan is in Morocco, a different city. We all know Casablanca and Rabat. It was played in Tétouan. The return leg was played in Kano. At the end of the day, it was Maghreb Tétouan, qualifying. So it doesn't matter where you play first these days. Again, you look at certain teams and say, okay, for Rivers United going to Mongomo, okay, I can accept that. When you're playing a team from Senegal, domestically, Senegalese football is on the rise, and the teams are doing well. So when you're going to play against Giraffe or Senegal, you look at it over two legs. It's not the job is not done after one leg.
Okay, all right. Also, let me get your take quickly.
I stand with the views of Ikoje, particularly Kano Pillars. This is look. Kano Pillars is a team that can express themselves properly on the continent, and this presents a good opportunity for them to prove it. So let's see what they can do over two legs. They're going to have a strong one against the Senegalese side. Again, let's hope that logistics doesn't make them start losing. That is the problem. We know Rivers United, I like the fact that they've accepted now to play the CAF Confederation Cup. Let's just hope that nobody will travel for 3 days before they get to their match venues, and then when they get there, they are not. We keep talking about this thing every time, and nobody is learning. That's when we start losing. So by the time we go away and we struggle, we are coming back home with bitter stories. Persons are now distracted and talking about the problems, and they forget that they have a second leg to play. That has been the problem with our football. Let's just hope that this time, as I said before we got into football, COVID-19 has refreshed the world. Everybody will see a new motivation to start doing the right thing. So maybe this time, you'll say, okay, we didn't prepare because there was COVID. Okay, we didn't play in the league because there was COVID. So let's give it our best.
All right.
Where you are now, come and talk about it.
Okay. You know what, guys? I want to get your thoughts. I'm going to start with Ikoje. We're at every of these competitions, at the end of the day, we're always talking about how the North Africans are always doing well. You see some of them fight civil wars, civil unrest, and despite of all of those problems, they still come out tops in African competitions. And you look at our Nigerian teams, and they're just miles ahead of us, head and shoulders above. The gap, is just too wide. And also talking about templates, talking about people not listening. I want to get Ikoje's thoughts and hope that those who should listen will listen. What do you think we should do in this part of the world that maybe in a year time, or in 2 years time, we'll be talking about, or maybe 5, let me say 5, because a year or 2 might be too, but let me say 5, that we'll get to a point where we could just fold our hands and expect that Nigerian teams would easily be dominating on the African scene?
Okay, let me put it this way first. Every time, or every year, or every season, you interview all 20 teams, coaches and the chairman. They say they want to play continental. They want to play continental. And continental comes, suddenly we realize that they were not even prepared for it at all. So why the urge to play continental when, at the end of the day, we realize preparation has not been there? Take Plateau United. You're going to play continental. We've known since March, after the whole, that Plateau United will represent Nigeria. Forget about the other teams. They were on top. So there was no debate. it was the second, the other teams, Imba and Koda, that had that debate about PPG. The two at that match when, COVID said it. Yeah. There was no debate. So how come it's 2 days to you're just preparing for your jerseys? I'll take you back again. 2018, Plateau played Champions League. They played in this facility. But remember that in the next stage, they played against Etoile. Etoile protested to CAF that facility is not in good shape. CAF moved that game. They two had to look for alternative venues. They had to play Etoile in Kano. They lost to Etoile over 2 legs. And then they came down to the playoff stage. And the playoff stage, they came to Lagos. Remember, they came to Lagos, Agege Stadium, to play against USM Algiers. So if you want to compete and compete well, you need facilities. Good facilities for your teams. You need facilities. Look at the North African teams. No surprise, Al Ahly and Zamalek are playing the finals of the CAF Champions League right about now. It tells you the quality in both teams. They've got the facilities, then the quality of players again. You want to be among the best. You must have the best. You must have the best players. Ali and Zamalek will buy players. I mean, even Ali had to get Pitso, the best coach in Africa. I mean, coach. They went for him.
All right.
So beating that 5-0 game in they can't forget that. Since then they've been after him. He has beaten Wydad. He has beaten Esperance. So they all wanted him. Ali got him. You must have a good coach. Have the best set of players. Junior Ajayi, we've never invited him, allowed him to play for the national team. We'll see what he's doing for Al Ahly. The big teams have the big players because they want to play in the big one, and that is the FIFA World Club Cup. If you play there, you get good money to reinvest. Again, you invest this money in your team. We don't reinvest monies in our team. And that's why we are where we are.
Okay. I want to keep both of you. I'll keep you on. We need to go on a break. When we return from that break, we'll continue from where we left it off, talking about how Nigerian teams can go on and dominate on the African scene, talking about club football. But let's go on a break and return for more on Sports Tonight. All right, time flies when you're having a very good discussion. We have limited time left on the show, but we'll see how far we can go with it. Austin, pitching with your thoughts quickly on how you think, in a minute if you can, it's difficult, but I know you'll try, on how you think we can go about it in Nigeria and see our teams dominate.
Structure, Yemi. We keep talking about having a proper structure. Mm-hmm. Big problem. About 90% of the teams in the league, they're government-owned. So it's not being run as a business. Ikoje made a big point that the big clubs get the big players, because it's the big players that will make it a big club. Pitso celebrated is going to Al Ahly because it's a big club. It's a club with a philosophy. It's a club that is doing business. The Egyptian model, starting from the bottom and getting to the top. They're playing a fantastic final now with Zamalek, and it's so beautiful to watch, seeing beautiful goals. I can't even talk about their level of infrastructure, and in terms of discovering talent and ensuring that you make something out of what you're putting money into. So, because you make money work for you. So most of the times that we celebrate clubs in Nigeria is when they win, for instance, and the government wants to come out and brag, and it's a little bit of propaganda. And somebody would take the entire budget for the team in a year and put it on TV to say that they've done something. It's misplaced priorities. We need to get back and check we can rebrand.
Yeah, I agree with you. All right, guys, well, I'll let both of you go. FIFA rankings, I want you to talk about it. A lot of people don't like commenting about the FIFA rankings, but a lot of people, I think, what on the street, a lot of people felt maybe on the strength of the double header, they could accept that the Super Eagles should sleep on the FIFA rankings. But let me go to Ikoje quickly. What do you make of the rankings? Nigeria slipping, justified, the 2 matches we played, we didn't do well. Your thoughts, quickly.
Yeah, justified. It's all based on how you perform. Results count. So if you don't get results, it's like when we're in primary, secondary, uni, you get results. I mean, you see it on the notice board. You don't have to be told. So that's the thing. That's the result. That's the report card for Monsieur Genetro.
Okay. Okay. Austin?
No, my views already. I try to, give analysis of that Sierra Leone match, and it was a struggle. So this is the first time I'm accepting that the FIFA ranking is right. you cannot question this one. And this one, they need to beat themselves. I mean, you're dropping 3 places, and who caused State?
Sierra Leone. Oh Lord. Oh Lord. Oh Lord. Oh Lord. All right. I think that's a good place to leave it. Maybe let me throw this in. Are we in a tough spot? I just want a yes or no. 2 matches to go in the qualifying series. Are we in a tough spot? We're going to Benin Republic. They know if they win, I mean, they'll displace us on the top of the table. So are we in a tough spot, or it's still in our hands, basically? Quick one.
I think we'll qualify.
Okay. Okay.
So let's talk about the main tournament.
Okay. All right. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. I could barely hear what you said, but I'm very sure it says we'll qualify. All right. Austin, quickly, before I let you guys go, are we in a tough spot?
Yeah, so right now, I mean, for me, every man's destiny is in his hands. If you want to play dice with it, it's up to you.
Okay.
I'm leaving it.
All right, all right. So that's it. I want to thank Aikojoye Ojekere for his time on the show today. It was nice having you join us. And as well, I want to thank our man, Austin Okon-Akpan, finding out time from his busy schedule to be with us on the show. Yeah, be with us on the show tonight. All right, that's a wrap on the show. Today is the last one for the week. We'll be back here again next week to do what we love doing, and that's talking sports. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye now.